Thank you so much for being willing to sit down with us. We know in 3 days, SNAP benefits are not going to be going out to over 170,000 Utahns who rely on the program for food assistance. Politics of this shutdown aside, what are you personally doing for your constituents to help them retain these or regain this assistance?
I mean, as a member of the House, I voted to keep the government funded, so that's the basic thing that I've done. However, as everybody knows now, the funding lapsed on the Senate side, and they're still negotiating that. So I've tried to be as proactive as I can be in letting Utahns know what's available. So for anybody in Utah who's worried about SNAP benefits running out, please go to my website. It's maloy.house.gov. There's only one L in Maloy. We have a temporary website set up for the shutdown specifically that says which government agencies are operating and which ones aren't, where to go to get help, and we've updated it just this week with information on where families can go to find food if they're dependent on SNAP benefits for food and that's going to run out on them.
We just reported yesterday about Ogden. They have just rolled out a temporary utility bill deferment program to help people in their town, primarily furloughed federal workers, during the shutdown. If we can do that at the city level, at the federal level, can we do something similar with the USDA funds that we know exist?
Those are discussions that are happening right now. The reality is these are decisions families are going to have to make in the next 3 days. They may have to make choices before they can get answers from the federal government. But what we do really well in Utah is take care of each other. We've seen this already during the shutdown with that it's not your fault you're not getting paid right now. Come in now and work with us. We'll help defer payments or make sure that you're not getting penalties. And a lot of the same things are happening with food scarcity. There are people stepping up, helping their neighbors. There are organizations in Utah that are already good at this. And I've also heard stories about people who are stepping up and donating to food pantries or checking on their neighbors that they know need assistance. We have a history in this state of taking care of our neighbors, and I'm hoping to see that increase over the next few days, and hopefully we'll get the government funded, get SNAP benefits flowing again, get everything back on track.
But on the federal level, with the USDA funds, we know in their contingency plan that was originally posted in September, since been deleted, that they said that core nutritional assistance programs would be funded. What changed?
Well, they have been funded. The government's been shut down for a month now. What changes is eventually you run out of money, and eventually you just have to make policy choices that we've got to reopen the government. We paid the troops temporarily. There are a lot of things we've been trying to do temporarily, but the answer is Congress needs to do its job, and we need to fund the government. I can remember, because it was just this summer, when people were talking about how the things we put in the One Big Beautiful Bill to tighten up SNAP and make sure that people who shouldn't have qualified weren't getting SNAP benefits were rolled out. There were a lot of people who were panicking and saying Republicans didn't care about poor people because we were trying to keep this program solvent. Now the entire program may go unfunded, and if tightening it up and making sure that it's only serving the people it's intended to serve is a problem, letting it go unfunded is a huge problem. As a first world country, as a world superpower, we can't just leave our poor people without food assistance. We need to get the government back up and running and doing the job it was intended to do, instead of Franken government slap it together for a while. We need to get back to work.
According to the Office of Government Accountability, it's legally federally required to pay SNAP, according to them. We know that there's 25 states and DC who signed onto a lawsuit suing the USDA for not providing these benefits come November. Is this something that Utah should look into joining, and have you spoken to the governor about this?
I'm not telling the governor or the attorney general how to do their jobs. What I'm doing is serving my constituents the best I can. I'm at work, my team's at work, we're trying to provide good information, and we're trying to get the government open again, because we have separate levels of government and separate branches of government. I'm part of the federal legislative branch. Our job is to fund the government. We control the purse strings. So that's what I'm focused on, is making sure that we're funding programs and they're operating the way they're legally supposed to operate.
On that same vein, what's your response to the criticism of lawmakers continuing to be paid during this shutdown? And on that same thought, are you currently being paid, and what are you doing with that salary?
Yeah, well, so the House gets paid once a month, so I have not been paid yet since the shutdown, but the Constitution requires that members of Congress get paid for our work, and that's striking a lot of people right now as unfair. If we didn't do our job and fund the government, but we're still getting paid while federal employees are furloughed and not getting paid, I think that just instinctively is unfair to everybody. What it would take to fix that is a constitutional amendment, but I think instead of fixing whether Congress gets paid, we need to fix Congress doing our job in the first place. We shouldn't be talking about who's getting paid during a shutdown. We should be funding the government and doing our job and moving on and making sure we're taking care of the American people.
And then my final question for you, we are in this gridlock. We are going into the 5th week of the shutdown, second longest shutdown in history. How can progress be made if negotiations aren't happening?
We can't make progress if negotiation's not happening. I think negotiation is happening. When the Federal Employees Union says this has gone on long enough, it's time to get to the bargaining table, when SNAP benefits are about to run out, those are the kind of incentives that bring people to the table and make everybody start talking instead of posturing. So I'm hopeful that negotiations will continue this week, and hopefully by next week we'll be having a very different conversation.